name is Karen Cully, and today we're going to be having a throwback to some childhood nostalgia. And as we hate to admit it, we all grow up and things get a little more complicated than they should be. Such is life for the world of Pokemon, which I'm sure all of you have heard of. It's popular, it's practically a pandemic sweeping the nation, popular from little kids from the ages of 10 to grown men of 20. There's a bit of a difference when it comes to how the game is played versus when you were a child to how you are grown up. And that has to do with the essence of competitive battling. Now, as we hate to admit it, when we do grow up, things tend to change for the better. While we used to have original 151 Pokemon that were basically just your little cute pets, now we have around 650. Now that's a lot of options, a lot of adoptions for little kids to make, a lot of decisions. But they are changing for the better. The game, however, gets a little more complex, not as simple. For those of you who don't know, you pick different types. Generally, common sense, fire gets put out by water, fire kills grass. That's how the game is played and determines who wins. However, now that the game has changed, it gets a little more complicated with mathematical formulas that allow you to breed and essentially compete to the top level, and which can also earn you cash prizes, honestly. The idea behind competitive breeding and changing from what used to just be simple gameplay of a fun, nostalgic game starts from getting the best traits from each parent to create your ultimate being to battle with. And with each trait, you are able to pick and choose the abilities and stats each Pokemon will get. Now to get started, you need a couple things first. It's a lot different than just playing through the entire game and beating the Elite Four, which is the ultimate goal of every Pokemon game, as you guys probably have heard of at least. When you beat the Elite Four, you gain access to a place known as the Battle Resort, which is not all a resort is cracked up to be. At the resort, there's an infinity loop which will allow you to access breeding to its proper extent. For all you biological interests out there, to start off with breeding, you're going to need a boy and a girl. That's just how nature works. And you're going to need things that are in the same egg group. And egg groups qualify for things that generally look the same, as in a person looks like another person, a dog looks like another dog. Those are things that can breed together. Certain items that you'll need in the game that tend to come along as you just play in the gameplay are the Everstone, which will allow you to pass down certain natures, which we'll get to the importance of that, and the Destiny Knot, which will allow you to pass down initial values, which are essentially your best genes that you're wanting to do for your selective breeding, as brutal as that sounds. Breeding for IVs. That is your genetics. In biology, these are the top traits, Charles Darwin, the traits you want to pass down throughout generations. The game randomly assigns these values 0 to 31. You want 31 perfect IVs in each 6 of your stats, which include HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. Having max 31 IVs will give you an advantage over the other ones and usually account to about 1 point per IV. This can be seen in comparison to real life on how people would breed dogs for dog competitions, and purebred dogs, how they perform better than mutts in an animal competition. When it comes to passing down IVs, this is where you will need one of the 2 most essential objects that you will find in the game, which is the Destiny Knot. It doesn't matter which parent you give it to. So take for example, I have a Togekiss that has HP, special attack, and speed as its IVs. Its genetics, its best traits that it has. I plan on breeding it with a female Togekiss that has defense, special attack, and special defense. Those are its best traits. But we want the baby to have both of the best traits. Whenever you give the Destiny Knot to each one, it doesn't matter which one, there's a chance that it will take 5 IVs from each parent. It will always take 5 IVs from each parent. So that means we have a possibility of getting one that's missing everything except attack, which will in turn give us the best result for competitive play. Competitive play, however, isn't necessary for in-game play, which is what a lot of us did during the childhood, where it was just pick the prettiest ones or the cutest ones and battle with those. The goal of this is attempting to have better stats than the original parent. Breeding for natures, that is where the next item comes into play, which is called the Everstone. Breeding for natures can make or break during a battle, and that's something we don't typically see when we're growing up with the game. Specific natures are passed down using the Everstone, and the parent holding that one will pass down its nature. The nature will either provide a 10% increase or 10% decrease to one of its stats. And typically, they usually sacrifice either attack or special attack, because you only ever need one of those during the game. In the end, that can end up making about a 30-point difference, which could KO a Pokemon or not. Here we're going to take a look at one that I specifically bred, which was my Hydreigon, named Kitten so appropriately. Here we can look and see that its special attack, up at the very top, is its average. It averages about 125, which is substantially larger than its attack. Therefore, you would want to breed it for a nature that supports its special attack rather than its attack. We'd want to provide a modest nature, which provides a 10% increase to special attack and a 10% decrease to regular attack, since it will only need one of those stats to be able to play competitively. It eliminates the unnecessary stat distributions and putting the initial values and effort values while you're training them into the right spots. That way you can maximize the benefit of the Pokemon. Using the Everstone, you can provide it to each parent, one parent, the one that you need the nature from. Here we see my female Hydreigon that has the modest nature that we need, breeding with an adamant male. But we want the modest nature, therefore we provide the Everstone to this dragon. This will provide either a male or female Hydreigon with modest nature and a plus in special attack, which will therefore make it the best special attacker in the game. So in comparison to when you were playing with other people, your advantages over which nature you breed your Pokemon with will provide an upper hand to battling. For example, if we say that this baby right here has 31 perfect IVs and 5 of its stats from being bred originally, plus a modest nature into its special attack is going to be around 340 compared to its base 300, and it'll be able to play competitively. So the advantages of playing competitively versus what we used to just do for fun can also mean a lot of opportunities elsewhere in the real world, such as getting scholarships for something as simple as what seems to be just gameplay, which is essentially just for fun. But you can also make quite a living out of it, considering other people play. They earn money through tournaments such as Smogon tournaments, where if you just have a competitive team bred and you know how to battle with them in unison, then you could potentially win a lot of money to fund college or leisure activities.